The table below shows the amount of rainfall in inches over time in hours, and the pattern is linear. So we have time in hours, we have rainfall in inches. It's asking me to find out what R of 9 is and explain what it means in this context. Now this is a calculator problem, the first one of the entire practice test. Looking at the numbers, it's not bad. It's actually really nice. So you're probably like, I don't need a calculator. And you're right. But what I'm going to do, just for the sake of practice with this problem, is I'm going to show you how to do this on a calculator so that you have the practice and you know what to do in the future. So let's go off to the side and do just that. All right, so in order to use linear regression to come up with an equation, we're going to go to Stat first and Edit. We're going to plug in our numbers on the left. So the x values will go on the left. They started with 0 and then just went up by 1 up until 5. Okay, over here we had 0 and then they were the even numbers, easy peasy. Again, you could do this without a calculator, but the purpose of this is to show you how to use the calculator to do it. Right, so the problem is asking me to find out what R of 9 is. In order to do that, I need to come up with my equation. So I'm going to go to Stat, Calc, and this is linear, so I'm going to use 4, which is linear regression. Now, since I'm going to use this equation for later, I'm going to store my regression equation into the y equals. So I do that by going to Store, Reg EQ, hit vars, go to y vars, and hit enter to go into function and enter to store that in y sub 1. So now when I calculate this, it's going to live in y equals. So you go down, you hit calculate. This shouldn't come off as a surprise that based off of the numbers, we have y equals 2 times x, or I guess technically in this case, r of t equals 2t. But if I go to y equals, there's my equation waiting for me. And that's why we do this process. Now it wants me to find out R of 9. So an easy way of doing this is going to Second, Table, scroll down to 9, and that gets me 18. All right, so let's go back to the problem, answer that, and explain what that means in this real-world context. So R of 9 ended up being 18. Now what that means is this was a t, and this is R of t. So that means after 9 hours, we can expect 18 inches of rainfall. And that's what we get here for A.